If AUS players and coaches were ever to take a vote on players they least like to play against, then today's guests would be first liners on that all-star team. Their highly competitive twin brothers will bring the energy to every shift of every game they play. There's not many teams that wouldn't want to have them on their roster. Please welcome Sault Ste. Marie natives, Drake and Darian Pilon. Given that these two individuals are highly competitive, figured it might be best to put on the referee shirt just in case this interview does get out of hand between these two individuals and an intervention is required. But anyway, boys, on a serious note, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having us. Thanks for having us.
All right. So, boys, just on that, I guess I want to start off with the competitive piece because we all know that your compete level on the ice is off the charts. But we also know that you guys are pretty competitive with one another. Would it be safe to say that you guys might be best of friends and also worst of enemies at the same time? That fair, accurate assessment?
For sure. Yeah, I'd say so. Like, even growing up kind of thing, like, there was different, like, even like house league teams, you'd bounce like team to team kind of thing. There were drafts, but like the one thing that like usually stuck together was like us, because our mom would be like, they're 7 years old, you're not making them play on two different teams.
Okay.
So like there'd always be like a little competition between us, like even when we were kids, like I had this many goals, I had this, I had that, and then I don't know, it kind of continues, but like just kind of changes over like the way I'm like kind of like the pettiness of it and turn it into more like fun kind of ways.
Sure. And today, does it continue up until this day?
Yeah, I'd say so. Like, he's got a bunch of goals this year, so he doesn't take shy to let me know. Like, you know, of course.
He's been on a roll.
Yeah, he has been hot. So yeah. I'll take the assist though, but.
I hope you're not jealous, and I've been pumping this guy's tires.
Oh no, I don't care. No. I play the same way every night. Don't bother me.
If you think back on the competitive side of things, has there ever been a time where maybe, you know, your competitiveness between the two of you got a little bit excessive or a little bit overboard, maybe? Or do you put limits on it?
I don't know if there's really a limit. It's just like common sense kind of thing. Like, I don't know. We've never really got to the point like where we've had to like swing at each other. Like, we get in our arguments, of course, yeah. Like, we get to probably everything just about that limit, but then we're just like, we can't ever come close to actually doing something like about it. Because I don't know why. It's just a kind of an internal feeling we got, I guess.
Yeah, it's like, well, like we're 24 now, and like I like to say 24 years, 24 hours, because like we pretty much, we played hockey growing up. We obviously like grew up together in the same house. Yeah. We go to the same university, we lived together. Both of our girlfriends end up living like at the same house kind of thing. Right. So it's like 24 years, 24 hours, like give or take, that we see each other in a day. So like it's gonna, like emotions are gonna escalate if you see somebody that much a couple times.
For sure, it's inevitable. So boys, if I look back at your story, I find it interesting that you both played minor midget hockey. Neither one of you were drafted in the O. You played some time in the Northern Ontario Junior Hockey League and 3 years with Sudbury, where you both played as 20-year-olds. And for me, that's really a story of, I would say, success and perseverance. Is that a pretty good assessment, that that's something that you guys made it a goal and you really achieved it?
Yeah, I would say so. When we were like growing up, kind of, it was just playing hockey, being athletes kind of thing, and like, but then when like we got to our minor midget years, like lacrosse, hockey, what are we gonna do kind of thing, and we kind of chose.
You're both lacrosse players?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And we kind of chose hockey instead, and then we got cut from our minor midget team.
Oh.
And we're not sure why. It's a long time.
It's in the past.
Yeah.
Way long.
And so we ended up playing house league that year, but like, I don't really regret it at all. I got to be a kid for 1 year kind of thing. Like, we played high school football for that 1 year. We did every high school sport that we could that year. And then we just, right after that, went right into junior. We played in this little outlaw league. It was the Bachelor and Attack first. And that one was for Denny Lambert. Like, that was kind of like the cornerstone of like that kind of set us, because he kind of coached us up like to where we like belong.
Why do I know that name?
He played in the NHL for a long
right.
time. He was a fighter, but
Yeah,
he
right,
was in the
okay.
NHL. He coached in the OHL for like head coach for a long time.
Yeah, I think he's a scout now too. For Sudbury, actually, I think he's a scout maybe.
Okay.
And like he kind of set us, and kind of he's got connections in the OHL because he was coaching there, and he kind of put a couple teams to like watch us kind of thing, and that's when Sudbury and a couple other teams like tried to pick us up. And we played Junior A for Jordan Smith at our hometown. Owen Hedrick, that used to play here, played for him too.
Okay.
And between those two coaches, I was like, they, especially for the age we were, like they were really good with like being authoritarian figures without kind of like crossing the line, without being that coach you hated. It was more like you were scared of them.
Yeah.
You want to
healthy
win.
respect.
Yeah. And I don't know, it kind of just drove us up that path, and we kind of started getting attention. When we got cut from minor midget originally, it was more like, all right, we can either like stop and be normal people, and like we can go like, okay, we're gonna go to college, we're gonna do this, or like we could put our foot down, we could like see where this goes, even if you're just gonna play. Our thoughts were just probably play 4 or 5 years Junior A, like have like a childhood of playing hockey and stuff like that, and then it's hard work ended up bringing us here.
Good. I'm glad you did.
Yes.
Yeah. So, boys, if you look at it in terms of your growth as hockey players, it was very clear right off the hop that energy was a big part of your game. And with that energy came maybe a little bit of over-exuberance, and the fact that sometimes you guys could find the line, but you had a hard time staying on it, and you would tip over. But, you know, Bo and I have talked a lot about this year in terms of the growth in your guys' maturity levels. And if you think about that, what do you think is attributed to you guys playing at a more controlled level this year than maybe in your first couple of seasons?
I think it would be like a lot of like trust and respect that's mutual between like us and our coaching staff. Like we've had the conversations, we've had the equal understanding with each other that has to be the topic that has to get better. And
difficult conversation.
yeah, and with head coaches and players, that always happens. Like you're always gonna have those conversations, and it's better to have them than not. Honestly,
Sure,
like,
yeah.
I would rather be told what I'm doing wrong and not get any feedback at all.
Yeah.
So
You guys are open books.
very.
Yeah.
So like if you guys if people have problems with us, they can say it. Like they can talk to us. Like, it doesn't matter. But yeah, we had that conversation with Forby, and we addressed it. We said we're gonna be better. Like we will, and we made him a promise. And he held me accountable at the beginning of the year, and I made it known, and we both made it kind of pretty obvious that it was going to be a big conversation in our game.
It's good stuff. Well, people are noticing.
Yeah,
you know,
thanks.
yeah, oh, for sure. One thing that the question we've always looked at is, I think you guys are better together. You've had kind of a rotation of centers in. You had Daniil Antropov. You guys had early chemistry at the start of the year. Lately, it's kind of flowed. Then you were separated for a bit. Now you're back together. You played with Zach Beauregard the last few games. Do you guys think you're better as a package, or if you had your preferences, do you guys prefer to play together, or is there any kind of preferences you have in that?
I think it varies throughout the year. Like during the year, obviously, it's nice to like when we play together. Like we had that chemistry where like we know where each other are going to be because we played together for so long that it's just we know. It's not like twin telepathy. Like I guess you could say it is, but it's just like I know his tendencies, he knows mine. It's very easy to play like that. But then back to the conversation of us getting on each other's nerves 24/7, like what he was just saying earlier. We get into each other's necks, and like we hold each other accountable more than probably anybody ever will. Like any small thing, like we will go down each other's throats about, because like we just hold each other to a different standard than like
We have high expectations for each other.
And you can be honest and open with one another.
exactly.
too.
So that whole strategy of putting us together, splitting us up, putting us back together, kind of like have the dream, take the dream away, let us feel what it's like to not have each other, then put us back together. And
Make you appreciate what you don't have.
Yeah.
exactly. So
Sure.
I think that's kind of what happened. And I think the thing with Daniil and Zach Beauregard is we can really balance our lineup a lot more. It I wouldn't say it makes us top heavy when we do that, but I would say it just it makes our lineup flow a lot better when we have like all four. Like we have 4 solid split lines right now that could go out there and battles anyone right now.
Good. So, boys, you've really embraced the island way of life. Our viewers may not know, but you hang around. Drake, you're fishing lobsters. Darian, you're fishing oysters. How's that been? I mean, being around the island and doing part of our primary industry and being a part of that. Drake, what's happening?
It was fun, honestly. I loved it. Like, I've gotten back, like when I was playing in Sudbury, even my first year here, I'd go home and I'd work greens crew for like a golf course. And yeah, you get a free membership and you get like all this stuff, but you're making $11 an hour. And it's really not, as a college, like as college athlete or college student, it's not like ideal for what you want to have in your pocket, or like you got to pay rent, like you have bills to pay. And here, it was easier, kind of like we were paying rent anyways. Why would you leave? We have a nice house with like the guys we live with, and then lobster fishing. I was like, I've always wanted to try it. My mom was like, that'd be so cool. Like even if you don't stay in PEI like forever and you come back home and stuff like that, like you could tell people like you fished lobster, you've been out in the ocean kind of thing. And like I fished out of French River this year with one of the Blackets, and I loved it. I never knew there was that much pride in being a North Shore fisherman. And
you better believe it.
And it was fun. I didn't find it.
Were you part of setting day?
Oh yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I think and Antro came out with us on landing day too.
Oh, cool.
He had a blast. Yeah.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, well, I mean, you talk about pride in communities. That's where it comes.
Oh
out.
yeah, they're all on the beach. They're waving you
Yeah.
off and everything like that. Yeah, it was cool. I've never seen anything like that.
Mason Wilgais, former captain here a few years ago, he used to fish in the summer
Really?
as well too. Yeah, down, so.
It's nice for if you wanted to focus on hockey too, because you have the season and then you can kind of, so you have the work, and you got 2 months to work, and then you got 2 months to like do your hockey work, and play.
Yeah, sure. And I guess what about the oyster side of things, Darian? How'd you find that?
Well, one thing I learned about oyster fishing is it's much harder than lobster fishing. Talk to any oyster fisherman, they'll tell you that for sure. They will tell you that he does child's play, he does child's work out there.
He works harder, I get paid more.
Yeah, that's what he was telling me all summer. He worked for the same amount of money we got. He worked a lot less hard, I'll tell you that. But no, it was good. It was a great experience, honestly. It was such a mind-boggling thing, like learning how they're actually fished, and like, but they're more like farming, where like you grow them, you grow them up, and like I didn't know that. Like I honestly, I had no idea what I was going to get myself into, and it was a great experience with Drake's girlfriend's family, the Murphys, and it was really fun. Like just being able to work out on the boat every day, like driving, like sailing out on the boat to the cages. I was just like, where else should I be doing this right now? Like, honestly,
It kind of keeps you in a locker room vibe too. It's not like formal at work, sitting at an office. You gotta be like, respect is one thing, but when you're out on the boat, or say you're in the dressing room, stuff like that, it's like you just kind of locker room talk, but you get your work done. Or like if you're at like a job, it's like work, and like
you're a team. It's a team aspect too, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure. I guess another thing, you talked about golf. You guys have embraced Belvedere Golf Course. I think is your home. Seems that you can't get away from Jeff Afleck. He's your manager at Belvedere all summer. He comes out here. He's refereeing. You can run, but you can't hide.
I know.
Huh? Are you guys as competitive on the golf course as you are in hockey?
Not me. He can be, but I'm more of like I call myself one of the best casual golfers you'll see. Like he's more like a sandwich and water kind of guy on the golf course. I'm like a beer and a chocolate bar, hot dog. Like I'm golfing like one of the boys. He's golfing like Tiger Woods out there. So.
Well, he gets off work at like 4, and so he's having like, I always want to hang out, and like I'd get off the boat at noon, and then I'd work out, and there'd be me and Troy, and we'd all go golfing, and like we golf probably 5-6 times a week. So we would.
I think Laz lived out there.
Yeah. So we'd try and shoot like as good as we could, and we try and get as best we could. Because Laz plays tournaments, I play the odd tournament or two. But the more realistic we can make it, like I guess. And it's more fun, like if I shoot like a 77 and like it's like not real, I'm like, but I'm gonna shoot the real one, it's like I have a better feeling going home.
Good stuff. So boys, we're coming into the end of the year. Only a couple of games left, UDM and UNB. Playoffs are around the corner. Youth sports coming up March 17th. If you haven't got your tickets, get them soon. But how you feeling about things coming in with the remaining time that you have left here?
I'm feeling good. I think we all are. Honestly. I think the younger guys and some of the newer guys are really getting a feel of what playoff hockey is going to be like. In this league, it's a really physical league, and until you actually play in it,
That was a playoff game the other night.
and that's what Forby keeps saying. Like, he's not really mad at our efforts because he's like, we're understanding what playoff hockey is, and to be able to understand how to win, you have to lose first. So once we actually learn to play these games, which is what's it's coming down to, it'll be really good for our team. So once we get really healthy and we get everybody back up to par, I think we'll be one of the powerhouses.
Yeah, I think right now, like for this week going to Moncton, like we're a bit banged up, and some guys that might not get opportunities will get opportunities where, say it comes down to later in playoffs, it comes down to nationals or something like that, and somebody goes down, like they could be more comfortable in that position. They've played it before, and like maybe they want to live up to the moment. But we're looking to still win these two games, even though they really don't mean much for like advancing in the standings or anything like that. It's big for us going into the playoffs playing the right way, and like especially with the few losses we've had lately, it's more of a learning curve with like the additional, like we had a like heightened amount of success in the first half, and even though it was expected, but like it's kind of not expected to go that many without kind of having like a little slump. We never really lost 2 in a row for a long time, and then a little adversity now is better than coming into playoffs and losing 2 in a row and then waiting until nationals. So now, like if we lose one game or get down early or something like that, we're like, we've been here before, we're fine. We're hosting nationals, we're a great team, let's put our boots on, let's go.
The boys, I got to commend you for keeping it together here for this interview and not having to intervene at any point in time. But listen, thanks for being entertaining the last few years. You've been fun to watch. And really, on a serious note, really, people are noticing the growth in your games. Keep it up, and good luck in the playoffs.
Thanks for having us. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.